Are you happy now we're recording? Also, you need to move the mic closer to you because it's not in front of you.
That's all good. I'm moving around a lot as well.
Okay.
So you said you're always forgetting your dad's birthday?
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure I know when it is now. I was talking to my mom today, and she didn't remind me that Father's Day was tomorrow, so I don't know.
Gosh dang it, Mom. We go over this every year. You have one job.
Mario.
I wanted that bit to drag on more, but maybe I'm tired.
I think we're both very tired. Well, one of us.
Maybe we're just chill. Wait, what? Wait, what'd you say?
I said one of us more than the other.
Okay. I don't know.
What did you think I said?
I don't know. I got real defensive like instantly because I thought you were like, oh man, like I thought you said like, well, like one of us was like actually working or something like that, and I was like, geez, like that's not what you said. But I was like, what the frick? But no, we were really busy too because what is it? Freshman orientation was Thursday and Friday, and so
they always have it in the middle of the summer.
Yeah,
I never liked that.
But
you have to wait for the year to actually start.
Yeah, it can be fun. You didn't enjoy yours?
Well, I liked orientation, but I didn't like waiting.
You didn't like the where it was?
Not where it was, just waiting.
When it was?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, yeah, freshman orientation, and then apparently it was like the biggest freshman orientation in like the history of Belhaven, where it was like last year for freshman orientation there was 50 students and their parents, so about like 200 people. This year 200 students,
wow,
and their parents and family, about 500 people.
Oh my goodness,
all on campus.
Do you know how many film students?
No idea. Yeah. I don't care.
Well, I care.
I want that program to die.
What? Okay, I don't want it to die. I just want the person who is currently over it to no longer be over it.
No.
Anyway.
Well, wait.
Okay.
I mean, from what John's told me is that like it's smaller each and every time. Like you get a lot of freshmen or you get a lot of people taking like the introductory classes and then they drop off. They don't stick around. And so there's like, last I heard, there were like no freshmen in the department.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Which is exactly why I want the person who is over it to no longer be over, because that's probably the reason why.
Dr. Parrott's he's going to look into it. He's going to see those numbers and he's going to be like,
I mean, obviously he is, because if there are no freshmen for how many semesters in a row? Like 2 now?
Yeah.
So.
Which I don't know for sure, but maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's going to be some auditing over there. And what's probably going to happen is that there is going to be no more film program at Belhaven, which is really unfortunate, but them's the breaks, I guess. But
we were very busy at the bookstore, and we were open later. We had like the most customers I've ever seen in there. It's very, very hectic. The store was like a mess beforehand. Everything was stocked up. Everything was like neat and orderly. Now it's just like tornado. All the cheap shirts got bought up. We're like almost completely gone of all of those. And we had like, I feel like 50 of them, maybe even more, probably more than that. But anyway, intro.
Well, it is the 20th episode of the Not Just Arin podcast, a very special episode for reasons.
It's our Christmas special.
This is our drug awareness special.
It's our day where this episode is brought to you by Dare.
It is special for reasons that you will see very soon.
It's special because you like the number 20 for some reason. You're like, whoa, 20.
Okay, that's not necessarily true, but whatever. I am Arin, and you are?
I'm not Arin.
Yes! Oh, God. I just smashed my headphone out, okay?
Yeah. That's a Teal quote.
Well, for this very special episode, we're going to have a Q&A, and Joseph actually did some work this time and compiled some questions for us.
I didn't compile anything. I just texted people. Well, I said, hey, yo, write us some questions.
Just accept it. You did some work this time.
All right. I did some work.
Okay. And I haven't seen any of these questions. I just know we have a decent amount of them. So we're going to be going in blind. However, before we start, I really want some water.
Okay.
I'm thirsty.
Now who's not ready? Is this still recording?
Yes.
All right, you should keep this in. This is you're gonna sound like an ant. I'm gonna be my roommate. It's not me. I don't know. It's my downstairs neighbor. His fridge stopped working. Melissa's curious about it, but from what I've heard from my roommate is that it is much more expensive than I thought.
Yeah, I've heard it's not very cost effective.
Yeah, which
I
feel like somewhat defeats the purpose, but maybe not.
I think it's more the cost is like the convenience. But anyways, question number 1.
1 second, I'm like counting them. I'm actually curious how many we have.
Okay. Are they particularly juicy? Are they, deep cuts, hard-hitting questions? Are they gonna destroy our friendship?
Okay. So we're gonna go. What? I'm upset you used the word juicy because I wanted to use it.
You can, Joseph. I do not own a word.
Yeah,
you can
but
also use
the impact of it is lessened now. Like,
okay.
I wanted to come in here and be like, Arin, well, our fans, our loyal fan base, they submitted us. I asked for, I think I asked for 10 questions each. And let's just say they delivered.
Okay.
And that, so who knows if there's enough time to even answer all of these. Okay. If we do answer all of them, then it will be a juicy episode of the podcast. That should be the title. It's like the juicy episode.
Sure. I wanted to call it the very special episode because it evokes 90s like sitcoms.
Yeah.
All right, come on, question.
Give me a second. Well, I want to give the rankings. So in third place we have Patricia with 5 questions.
We're ranking them?
Well, yeah. Just by quantity. I don't know. Maybe they won't appreciate it.
Well, listeners, if you're listening and you
don't appreciate it,
you don't
text me.
Let Joseph know directly.
Okay. Well, we have Patricia in third place, which third place, not bad.
Out of 3, pretty bad.
Don't specify that. Don't specify that. Third place, we have Patricia with 5 questions. I believe second place we have David's questions. He fulfilled the assignment.
He did 10 exactly.
He did 10 exactly.
All right.
Second place, and then third place.
Third place?
For first place. Jeez. First place we have the teacher's pet herself, Melissa, trying to get an A double plus, or a double A plus. I don't know.
A plus plus.
A Disney plus.
Which is a D-.
What is it? Speaking of which, I hate Kenobi. We've been watching more of it. There's 1 episode left.
Why do you keep watching it?
I'm gonna finish it. It's like it's a hate watch at this point.
Okay.
Anyway, we can talk about. Well, we won't talk about it this episode, but I'm definitely gonna write a scathing letterboxd review. All right. So Melissa, first place. She came in with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm laughing. 13 questions. I'm laughing because I'm just like, I feel like she's gonna be upset. I called her teacher's pet. And then I'll say to make that's interesting. I haven't read, the only questions I haven't read were Melissa's. So from the, no. Okay. So what do you think, since I'm controlling the questions, who do you think we should start with? The one, like, do you think it matters? Should we start with Melissa?
Let's do Patricia.
Patricia? Okay. Yeah. And do
as I feel icebreaker.
Like, I feel like I want to alternate.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. So we'll start with,
I feel like, my cold read, Patricia's gonna submit some nice questions. David, he might be, I don't think David's an edgelord. That might be a little mean, but they might have.
This isn't the episode to be mean.
I'm not being mean.
Okay.
And then Melissa, since she knows the two of us, I think, I guess that's subjective, but she knows the two of us collectively better. She might get some deep cuts.
Okay.
So,
I'm gonna start with like, yeah, just I guess some icebreakers.
Okay.
We're gonna start with daytime or nighttime.
Daytime or nighttime?
Just a preference question.
Okay.
Who wants
Well,
to go first?
uh, you can.
Um, well, see, this seems like a really clear cut, dry question, but the thing
Okay.
is that like I see pros and cons with both. I think knee
You
a me,
jerk.
yeah, I wasn't sure if I wanted to say that.
Okay.
First reaction, I think I want to say nighttime. Like I like when like people are asleep and I'm just kind of like by myself. It's quiet, it's peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's that. But then like I like when it's sunny. I like when it's warm. And then as I've um, adjusted to my work schedule, I feel like I'm still like a nighttime person, but like I'm waking up earlier, so it's like I sometimes I can enjoy like the morning to myself, which
Mm-hmm.
is daytime. So this is a really difficult question for me. Patricia came in with the hard hitters, but I'm gonna go with a nighttime final answer.
Okay. I think for me, daytime is better because then I can actually like get stuff done. I feel like nighttime is better for like the general vibe of it being like dark and stuff, even though being outside at night, especially in Jackson, not the safest. But I can remember when I was in high school, me and my friends would often just like do things at night. So we just like hang out after dark and like ride around the city at night. And that was an interesting experience. It does evoke some memories of being young.
Mm.
But I think as an adult now, I like the daytime more. Because, I mean, after like 10 p.m., I'm like done for the day. I'm tired. So I can't even really enjoy nighttime as much as I maybe want to. And also, I'm not really like a nightlife person. I don't think I've ever been to a club. I've been to a bar once.
Man, you're I feel like you're going way deeper than I thought than even I did, and I thought I went too deep.
Well, yeah, I don't do night stuff. However, when I play The Sims, love going to bars and clubs and all of that. I don't know why. It's just I just
She
like
said in
that
real
aspect.
IRL daytime, but nighttime, that's when I'm in The Sims, baby.
Well, no, not like okay, I don't play The Sims at night. It's just when I am playing The Sims, I do like to explore all of the like nighttime activities that your sim can do, which sounds so sad, so I'm going to move on. Final answer daytime.
All right. We're gonna come in with another icebreaker. Sorry, I'm just thinking. I'm thinking of my answer before I even ask it.
Ask the question.
Hot or cold?
Cold all the way.
Well, see, I'm thinking of layers to it. I think
Okay.
there's my own personal well-being, where I think I would rather be hot than cold.
Okay.
Which like, what if it's like, what if it's not even a question of like,
Temperature?
no, well, see, like I'm really reading into it, where it's like it's not like the temperature outside, but it's just your personal state of being. You know what I mean? Like let's say like
Interesting.
you're just wearing your clothes. Like let's just say shorts and a t-shirt default or something,
Okay.
right? Or maybe pants and a t-shirt. So it's a nice middle ground. And then the choices: would you rather be like it be really hot, your surrounding area, or really cold? But you can't like see people always
See,
are like,
Joseph, you're doing too much now.
no, I know, but it's fun. It's fun. So, but people
my
are
God,
like, if it's
okay.
cold, you can always put on a jacket, put on a blanket.
Yeah.
Not in this question. You can't do that. And then like for hot, you can't
Take your skin off.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say clothes or just drink something cold, eat a nice beverage.
Eat a beverage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can and everything. So, with that being said, you can't do anything to improve your state. Would you rather be hot or cold?
See, this is too much. I think I would still rather be cold though, because being hot, like I hate the summer.
You
Like,
can't get warmer though. You can't put on a jacket. You can't put on a blanket.
Oh well, whatever. I don't care.
You want to stand next to a volcano or in Antarctica?
Too much. God, I still think I'd rather be cold though.
Okay, I would rather be hot.
Okay. But also, as far as like body temperatures go, in this not weird hypothetical. I feel like there's a very delicate balance for me between being too hot and too cold. Like, I have to find that balance, and I very rarely can, because in my current apartment, my living room, like, I have my thermostat set to 68 now because it's like really hot. However, that makes it really cold in my living room. But in my bedroom where I sleep, it's still really hot, even if I do leave the door open, because there's like negative ventilation in that stupid apartment, which is why I'm leaving. And so that makes sleeping really uncomfortable. So I would rather be cold, because if I'm cold, I can sleep easier. But if I'm hot, I'd be sweating, tossing and turning, just unhappy. So
I think this question is so open-ended. I'm just having fun with it, because it's like, I'm not just thinking of myself because she didn't specify. I'm thinking of like food as well. It's like, do I prefer hot food or cold food? And
now I'll say this. I said, I will say this. When I was bringing my lunch to work for what?
No, I heard you. You didn't have to repeat yourself. You may have interrupted me.
Well, you said
go
what?
on.
But anyway, I was bringing my lunch to work, and I was routinely eating cold food, like, I don't know, tuna sandwiches and whatnot. And I found that it made my stomach unhappy, which is a really weird thing to say. But I felt unsatisfied eating cold food every day for lunch. So I would say I prefer hot food. Hot as in temperature, not as in spicy.
I think for me, like, I like food being hot. Pizza, it's great. Not as great cold, you know? I think probably more food is better hot than cold. But for me, I really love them desserts. I really love popsicles, snow cones, ice cream. That cookie that you wouldn't try.
Because it was frozen.
Hey,
what was that even?
Okay. It was a callback.
Callback to what?
The question, hot or cold?
Oh. Okay.
What? I think I like water. I prefer cold water. I think more stuff is like better hot, but I feel like the best stuff, in my opinion, is cold. You know what I mean? I love me some cold water. I love me some cold desserts.
Now, I would agree with you, but I have this little peculiar condition where cold things make my teeth hurt.
Called 230.
Well, I mean, I think it's technically called sensitive teeth. I've tried the Sensodyne toothpaste that's supposed to like fix it. It doesn't do anything. I don't know what's going on. I just know ever since I was a youngin', I would try to eat something cold. It would make contact with my teeth, and I would be like incapacitated for like 2 seconds.
Can I angle this up at all?
Yes. Hold on.
Do I have to adjust it?
Yeah, there's a knob on the side.
I have to like loosen it?
Yes.
Ow. I hurt my fingers.
Oh, you hurt your fingy?
Yeah.
On the widow knob.
I did. It hurt. All right. I think that's better. I don't have to like hunch anymore.
Okay. You can also raise it.
You tell me you could. What?
What?
I didn't know I could raise this anymore. I thought you set it to the highest height.
No, this is the lowest height.
Oh. Well, I think we need to move on to a next question. So we've tackled day or night, hot or cold. I think it's time to move on to one of David's. Okay. Or wait, okay. Actually, you pick. Do you want to choose David or Melissa?
I was going to say David as well.
Okay. Oh man. I like his a lot.
Are these like thought experiments? Because I don't want to get into any.
Some of them might be, yeah. No, we have to. This is what the fans demanded. Man. You said don't hold back. You said ask anything.
I did say that, but I can't do thought experiments.
They asked, we answer. All right. I'll start off easy. Some more icebreakers.
Okay.
Which this may get harder to keep track of as we go on. I should have like wrote these down maybe so I can like cross them off, you know? What kind of microphones do we use for this podcast?
That is actually a fantastic question. So, we use the Audio-Technica AT2020 microphones. They are condenser microphones, and they have XLR inputs. And I also bought 2, what do you call these? I guess they're like pop filters for them.
Sure.
Because previously we were using 2 of my socks, and I did not want to do that anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, that is... I like that question. I don't know.
Yeah, good for you. None of them are like... The rest of them are not like that at all.
Oh, man. Okay.
What is it?
Also, they were okay, I forgot how much they cost, so never mind. Move on.
Okay. he wants to buy one.
I don't know, he does stream.
Yeah. Which we missed this past one because we didn't record.
That is true.
Well, other factors as well. Melissa was sick and tired. You were also tired. And then I was busy. Well, I don't want to say busy. I'll say preoccupied playing Horizon, really getting back into that game. Another question from David.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking maybe we do like 2 each and then like alternate, which we're going to run out of Patricia's first, but I think alternating 2 each works.
Okay.
This next one.
Mm-hmm.
What is the most disturbing movie you've ever seen? I feel like, yeah, I've had a little bit more time to think about this. I've seen some disturbing movies. I definitely haven't seen as many as David has. And I don't think anywhere near to the extremity that he has of like the level of disturbingness. I think the first one that comes to my head, and I feel like the only one, like I could go through my whole letterbox, but I think like the top one is probably Midsummer.
Okay.
I can't think of anything other than that.
I wasn't even like considering that. I guess
really?
that is, yeah, I guess it is a disturbing movie, but when I think of like disturbing movies, I think of like, a Serbian film.
But you haven't seen a Serbian film.
No, I know, but there are like these movies that are generally considered to be like your stock standard like shock movies.
Yeah, I know. But
like
have you seen any of them?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
But when I was thinking, the first one that came to mind was Nymphomaniac Volume 1 and 2, which I did see. Not the director's cut, which is like much longer, but they're disturbing, but not like, gore and all kinds of stuff like that. Just, I don't know.
I mean, it's we're answering the question, so you're providing the metric. You know what I mean? If you want whatever you deem as the most disturbing is your answer,
But back in like the golden days of Netflix, so like 2013 to 2016, I watched like a lot of movies on there, a lot of like deep cuts. And honestly, I'm trying to think, but really I can't think of anything other than that. I mean, I guess Midsummer was pretty disturbing, but I wouldn't say it's the most disturbing thing that I've seen.
I mean, you can certainly say that, but you have to give something that you're like, oh yeah, I think that's more disturbing than Midsummer.
Yeah, I don't know if Nymphomaniac was more disturbing because it's less like shocking, but it's still, you feel uncomfortable watching it.
I am scrolling through my letterbox now, which isn't as I don't know. It's just posters, so it's honestly not as hard as I thought it would be. I think I'll probably give other examples of movies that I think are disturbing, but I still think Midsummer's number one. But like other examples, I remember Dirty Harry disturbed me a lot. Where like, have you seen it? Okay, well, the first like 30 minutes or so of it, I don't want to spoil it, I guess, since you haven't seen it, or maybe Patricia or David haven't. Melissa and I watched it together, but the first 30 minutes of it feel like really cheesy. It feels like a 70s like action cop movie. Like it's really goofy. And then something happens where it all of a sudden, and this was just my experience with it, I don't know if everyone views it this way, but all of a sudden it shifts and it's like something happens where it's like, whoa, like that got dark. And I was just like, man. And then from then on, it became like a thriller to me. And it still has some cheese and it still has some like goofiness, but it got much darker and much more serious after a certain turning point. And so that one turning point kind of did disturb me a bit.
Are we including documentaries in this? Okay. Because I feel like the disturbing stuff that I have seen and would consider like, disturbing and have stuck with me for a while aren't exactly like theatrical, like scripted movies. Yeah. It's mostly like, I don't know, ARGs and documentaries.
I just think including documentaries would be too easy because it's like there's a lot of
true crime stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of disturbing stuff that's like actually happened, and I feel like because it actually happened, it's as disturbing as, I haven't seen it, but like Cannibal Holocaust or something, like as disturbing as that movie may be,
Not real.
Yeah, you know.
Okay. Well,
What is that? Another
never mind
example.
about that.
I still want to scroll through. Though I'll try to be quick. Another example, The Exorcist.
Okay.
It's a disturbing movie. The Shining. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, whatever. I know Creep Show really got to me, which again, really cheesy and kind of like goofy, but really grossed me out. It quadrupled my fear of cockroaches. Seven is a good example. Would you say Seven? But between the two of them, Seven or Midsummer?
Midsummer, definitely. Because I feel like, I don't know. Seven to me feels like more of a standard, like, I don't know, I guess cop movie. Like, I don't know. That one.
But I feel like it feels true crime. I feel like
Well, yeah, it is, but except it's not true. But
yeah,
I don't know. That one didn't feel like disturbing to me. I feel like disturbing, it has to like stick with you for a while.
I feel like Seven does. Most people.
Not me.
Okay.
I will say I did have trouble sleeping after watching Midsummer, which I did see it in the theater. So
another one that's sticking out to me, Akira. I feel
Really?
I feel like the body horror and like I mean, I've only seen it once and it was a while ago, but the body horror aspects and maybe some of the brutality of it. Like there's that without spoiling too much. There's that like
Akira is so old.
yeah, I know, but whoever hasn't seen it, Melissa hasn't seen it.
Well, you've had the time, so
What the nightmare sequence without going into detail? I think he's hallucinating or no, he's not. There's like some weird mental stuff going on. It's kind of vague, but it's fine.
well, this isn't an anime. Well, it is an anime, but it's not a movie. It's a series called Elfen Lied. It's like a limited series, I guess, because there's only like one season and a few episodes. That's pretty disturbing. I think the other go-to like disturbing anime that people
Berserk.
That's an anime?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard of it. But the series Higurashi.
Never heard of
it's
it.
like it's basically like schoolgirls murdering each other. I haven't seen it, but I saw
Battle
like
Royale?
No. It's just like regular murder. I would see it in like disturbing anime compilations, which that and Elfen Lied would sometimes be included in that. The intro sequence, oh my goodness, to Elfen Lied, banger, bop, amazing.
I think we need to move on, but
Yeah.
my did you? Well, actually, no. We won't move on unless you can give me something that you thought was more disturbing than Midsummer.
I mean, I've seen a lot of movies. I don't know. It's just the first thing that came to my mind was Nymphomaniac.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can say that, yeah.
I feel like Midsummer at least had some like art to it. Like I could appreciate the
But
aesthetics
Nymphomaniac
of it.
didn't.
Not really. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it was like, it was a competently made film, but I don't know. It seemed to maybe have been made more for the shock value than for like storytelling or like art or whatever. Which I mean, the same could be said about Midsummer, but I think Lars von Trier movies have that reputation generally. So
I thought it was Trier.
I don't know. I've never heard his name said.
You know, I was just saying. It doesn't have that bad of a Nymphomaniac Volume 1 doesn't have that bad of a rating on Letterboxd.
I mean, it's a decent movie.
Well, it sounded like you were blasting it.
Not necessarily. It's a movie about a woman with a sex addiction. And it
I
gets
know what
weird.
it's about.
Okay, I know, but it gets weird.
But it sounded like I don't think I've seen any of his movies. I know Lars von Trier's like controversial. But it sounded like you watching it, you were like, oh, this isn't really as like artsy, it's more schlocky. Which I don't know, that's your call.
It's a delicate mix of art and schlock. Whereas I feel like Midsummer is more art than schlock. So I think we need to move on.
Yeah, that's fine. So my final answer is Midsummer. What's yours?
Nymphomaniac. I'm just gonna group the two parts together. Yeah.
Okay. Melissa's list intimidates me.
Why? Are they like word problems?
Well, she didn't space them out, so it's just a little like word messy. I think both David and Patricia like formatted theirs nicely, at least for like reading. And so I appreciate that. And so I think just visually it overwhelms me. But um,
I think I saw one about time travel in there.
There might have been. I haven't read them.
Oh. I know I saw If You Could Go Back.
Okay. One icebreaker, which I don't think you're going to care about. DC or Marvel?
Did I go first last time?
I don't know. I did. I went with Midsummer first, so you can go first if you want.
I think of the movies that I have seen, I have enjoyed DC movies more than Marvel movies, so I'm gonna go with DC. Even though I know they have their share of like crusty movies, it's just the ones that I have seen have been pretty nice.
Yeah,
so.
I agree with that. I'm
X-Men DC.
No, it's Marvel.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I'm not really thinking about that. See, because I think I'm gonna say DC as well, but when I hear Marvel, I think of Disney, like MCU, not like Sony and some of the other stuff. I guess X-Men, Sony and Fox and Disney. But even then, I think I really appreciate DC being much more experimental with their properties and like taking risks. Whereas like Marvel plays it, specifically the MCU, plays it much more safe.
Because they gotta make that China market money.
Well, I guess I don't know this 100%, but I'm going to say I'm like 70% sure. I think like the last 4 MCU movies didn't come out in China.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's happening anymore.
I don't think that's true. Wait, what are the last 4 ones? Because I know like
Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals.
I thought Shang-Chi did come out because people specifically in China said that the leading man was like ugly, which is like so mean.
I said I'm 70% sure. I could be wrong. I think Eternals, I mean, they could edit it out, but I don't think Eternals would because it has like a very open gay relationship in it. I don't think, I'm trying to think of the reasons why they wouldn't come out. Same with Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange has like a gay relationship. So I feel like I know those 2 didn't come out in China. I don't know about like Shang-Chi and Black Widow. But I think, I know this isn't the most reliable source of information, but I think I learned this from the IMDb trivia where it was like, we saw Doctor Strange and it's like, this is the 4th or 5th movie in a row, Marvel movie in a row to not be released in China.
Well, that's wild because, you know, as we know, China is like a huge market.
Yeah.
But they make a lot of their own movies and television shows. So,
but
nothing like that though, to my knowledge.
Going back to the question, like the MCU, I feel like I'll say I love it as a whole. I have some great memories with it. It does have some good movies, but it is definitely reached a point where it's quantity over quality, where it's like these shows, they either really suck or they're just okay, and that's a shame. And same with the movies. I feel like they either really suck or they're just okay. Though I did enjoy Shang-Chi. I thought that one was good.
Also, Marvel humor makes me want to like shake a person.
Yeah,
like,
it's getting overdone, and like I don't know if you saw my Letterboxd review, but
of
Batman Begins. Me and Melissa watched Batman Begins recently, and that's a really like funny movie. It has a lot of like natural comedy. Christopher Nolan.
Oh,
it has a lot of like.
I thought you were talking about Batman Forever.
No, like, Batman Begins. Okay. I think Batman Forever was Joel Schumacher.
And then Batman and Robin was
also Joel Schumacher.
Well, who didn't Tim Burton do a Batman movie?
Batman and Batman Returns.
Oh,
yeah.
And those are like camp.
I think all 4 of them are. But Batman Begins has a lot of like very natural humor. Like there's just kind of like very organic jokes in it, and so like me and Melissa were like really cracking up, and then Melissa at the end of it was like, man, that movie was really funny. And I was like, oh my god, you're right. And it's like, not like humor doesn't have to be this like Disney's definition of humor where it's just like, oh, look at this thing. Like, yeah, it's, and so I'm getting real sick of it where it's like every Marvel movie, every Marvel show, there's that one character that's like the comedy relief, and
Like they have to meet a joke quota or something.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
So anyway, but like, yeah, so there's Marvel, and then DC, we have movies like Joker and like the
Joker
Batman.
2?
Yeah,
The
Joker
musical?
2 coming out.
I'm actually excited about
Is
that.
it a musical?
Yes.
No.
Yes, you haven't heard that?
I've only heard the title. IGN only reported on the title.
Really? Okay, well, it is a musical, and Lady Gaga is going to be in it, I think, as Harley Quinn.
What?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
This isn't real.
It is. Look it up.
I don't want to look it up. I'll look it up. IGN
I'm
only
surprised you haven't heard about this.
Well, see, I don't keep up with. I mean, I don't even keep up with entertainment news that much. I keep up with video game news religiously. That's what I follow. Movie news, not so much. I kind of rely on IGN, and IGN's reporting is like somewhat sparse, or at least like just the basics or the headlines.
I'm not making this up.
When the heck?
This was probably within the last week. I don't know. Time is weird.
Wow. So it seems real.
Yep.
What? I don't know. We It says Lady Gaga's in early talks, so she's not confirmed.
Well, could you imagine though, Lady Gaga, Harley Quinn?
I don't know. What the frick? Oh my god, why do you have to shatter my brain in the middle of this? Like,
I thought you knew.
I wish John still worked at the bookstore, because then I would have definitely heard about this. No, I had no idea.
Well, what about okay, this isn't related to DC or Marvel, but the Barbie movie? The Barbie movie?
Wait, come on. Come on. We're gonna this is gonna be a 4-hour episode if we do all these questions. DC, we have like movies like Joker and the Batman and Batman versus Superman, the Snyder Cut.
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn?
Yeah.
Like the show?
Or Birds of Prey.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I'm thinking of like Birds of Prey is a good example. It's R-rated and it's like female-led.
The Suicide Squad.
Female team-up movie. I love the Suicide Squad. So yeah, I think I prefer DC over Marvel. That's just because I feel like Disney is so greedy and so like corporate and just very much removing like the art from it. Yeah, we can't do all of these. We gotta do another one. Anyway, okay. Because even the icebreakers, we're taking like 5 minutes on. One of these questions is gonna take us like 30 minutes.
No boy.
That's a joke, but maybe. Okay. We'll see. I'll ask it. And then we'll see. What is that one thing that you did when you were alone that when you try to tell someone they don't believe you? So I guess what's something that you do maybe like by yourself, like when no one else is around, that like if you told other people they wouldn't believe you? I think
she means like something unbelievable that happened to you or that you did.
Oh,
but no one was around to see
it. Yeah, you interpreted that better. I think that is what she means.
No.
What is that one thing that you did when you were alone that when you try to tell someone they don't believe you? I have one slight example, but it's not really like they don't believe you. But this is a good question. I'm glad you read it correctly because I was struggling. Okay, so I was like a little kid back in Virginia, and I felt like I had like a Matrix moment where I'm serious.
Okay.
Where like time like slowed down and it was trippy. So basically I was on the swings. Like I said, I'm like 10, anywhere between 8 to 12 years old. Big range, but it doesn't matter. I was on the swings with like my mom and like a sibling or two, whoever was alive at the time. And I'm at that age where, you're a little dangerous. You want to jump off the swing, you go peak, maybe not peak height, but like you go a little bit high, you jump off, you land. And what is it? I was doing that on this trip to the park, and I'm swinging, I'm getting real high, and then I let go. We have takeoff, and then a wasp like flies in front of me, and I swear, like I perceive time differently. Where like straight up, like I'm flying through the air, this wasp is like flying in front of me, right in front of my eyes, and I'm like just like hoping I don't hit it, and then luckily it's like as soon as it's past me, time goes back to normal and I like land. But like it was trippy, where like I don't know. That's like the only time that's ever happened to me, but it felt very real. It felt like I was in slow motion, and it was super cool, especially as like a little kid.
Well, I've heard adrenaline can make time or the perception of time slow down for people, so that's probably it.
I don't know. But
I genuinely don't have something for this. Like, I don't know.
I can you keep thinking. I have like one more, but again, this kind of deals with, this isn't like, oh, I flipped a water bottle like on the cap instead of the bottom. Like, for some reason, what's popped in my head is like my perception of things. I have deja vu a lot, where like, not like super frequently, but enough that it feels weird, where like I'll be living a moment and I'll be like, yo, I feel like I dreamt this like a year or two ago. Like I've seen this before, and like they almost always play out the same, where I'm like, I realize it and I'm like, whoa. And then I'm like, I kind of break it, but that's also part of it. And so then I try to explain it to someone else, and then they're like, what do you mean? Or do you know what I'm going to do next or something like that? But it's almost like I'm remembering it as it's happening. But like, I've had a lot of deja vu moments where I swear by like my brain or like the way it feels is that I'll live a moment, and they're usually insignificant. They're not a big deal. And then it's like, I dreamt it like a couple months, a year, 2 years ago. And I'm like, whoa, I've seen this before. I've lived this before. And it's trippy. But I feel like, well, I've never like tried to predict something, and I've never watched like a YouTube video on it, but I've heard that like it's a moment where your brain kind of like stutters, where you're what is it? It's almost like you're remembering things like in sequence or something like that, where so it feels like you're or out of sequence, so it feels like you're remembering it when you actually like it's just happening now and your brain's like catching up or something like that. But I don't know. I've never like verbally like predicted something, like said like, oh, you're gonna do that now, and then it happens. But it's always like mentally it feels like, yo, I've lived this before, and it's like she's gonna pick up her cup, and then she picks up her cup, but I don't confirm it. You know what I mean? So it's never been real to someone else, just me. Have you thought of anything?
The only thing that really comes to mind is that when I was like younger, and this only happened like twice, it was raining and my window wasn't open, but like the blinds were open, so like you could see outside, and it looked like lightning struck next to my feet or something like that. And that I can remember that distinctly happening like twice. That's
cool.
Aside from that, not really. I do get deja vu somewhat infrequently. I get wacky dreams, like recurring dreams.
Nah, that doesn't count. That's not applicable to the question. Deja vu, I think, counts.
Okay. I mean, aside from that, I genuinely can't think of anything.
That's all good. I think the lightning thing's cool enough. And then deja vu. That's a cool question. I wonder what Melissa's answer would be. Let's go back to Patricia. All right. How long have you been recording?
44 minutes.
Oh, man. I'm tired.
As am I.
I'll just take a breath. I don't know. For some reason, my head hurts. Maybe I'm too...
Intermission.
I'm too excited.
Okay.
Not breathing enough, You
ever have those times where you just forget to breathe?
Is that your Seth Rogen impression?
No.
Sounded like a bad one, but it sounded like your attempt at a Seth Rogen impression.
No. He doesn't do stand-up. No, never mind.
Yeah, he does.
He does? Seth Rogen?
I don't know. He's had like a Netflix special or two. Maybe not like proper stand-up.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. If there was one class in school, we'll say high school,
Okay.
or just before college in general, that you would get rid of, what would it be, and why, as well as what would you replace it with?
Okay.
And I guess and why.
You went first last time. So when I was in high school, we had this class. I can't for the life of me remember what the name of it was, but the purpose of it was that we were supposed to work on the yearbook, and we never worked on the yearbook. In fact, I can't remember doing a single assignment in that class. That was my senior year of high school, so it was basically pretty useless. So I definitely take that out and replace it with probably an actual yearbook class, because I don't even think I got a yearbook my senior year of high school, and I think I would have really liked that. So probably that.
I think this is tricky for me because, like, I feel like I've grown. It's been a while since I've said not like other girls, but I feel like I've grown. Well, I feel like it's really popular to like hate on high school and like math and science, and it's like, when am I going to ever use this in the real world? And it's like not a lot, but I feel like I've grown to appreciate just the basics and the basic understanding of the world and math and science and history and stuff like that. I think I've just grown to appreciate it more, and I don't have like the best understanding of all of those topics, but when something pops into my head again where I remember it, or it helps in a certain instance, or it's just like, oh, I know how that works, or something like that, it makes me appreciate that class more. That being said, going through the list of the basics, I remembered that I also really didn't like history.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I really like history. Even in high school, because I had some really good history teachers. And I think that's really what makes or breaks whether or not a person likes history as their teacher. Because there's a good way to do it, and there's like a not great way to do it.
Well, I think throughout my education, history was always like very boring. And I think I didn't like it because it's just dates and events, and like there's no drama to it, there's no substance. And I think what is it, it was just reading a book, and it's like, in this year, this is when we like America butchered the Pilgrims, this is the year
That's not even what happened.
whatever. I'm not good at history either. This is the year that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. This is the year we went to the moon, all that.
Not necessarily what happened.
Okay.
Since it is almost Juneteenth, it did take quite some time for the slaves to actually be freed.
Freed like half of them. Did he?
Really didn't pay attention in history.
What do you mean?
They did make it seem like the Emancipation Proclamation was the document that freed the slaves, but it's not necessarily true. In fact, I believe Abraham Lincoln was of the belief that they should have been shipped back to Africa, which is something that did sort of kind of happen. So there's an African country called Liberia, and if you look at the flag, it's very similar to the United States flag, but it has 1 star instead of 50, and that's because it used to be technically a colony of the United States, but also sovereign at the same time. And so that's where a lot of not recently freed slaves, because that didn't happen until, I want to say, a few decades later, because there's like a whole Back to Africa movement led by this person named Marcus Garvey.
Okay, wait. I feel like
the stuff about slavery taught in school is not super accurate. Okay. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'll say I doubt you I feel like I want.
Doubt me.
Yeah, I doubt you.
Oh
I
my God,
want.
here we
I
go
want
again.
some proof.
Eh.
But I will also say that I'm
Joseph,
basically.
I am a
Give me a second.
self-described history enthusiast.
Eh,
I yearn to understand the past more, especially how it relates to the future, and so I do a lot of reading about these things.
uh-huh.
So I don't know. I feel
But I
like
also feel like you're heavily biased,
heavily biased in what way?
just in general, just in your whole demeanor.
See, I don't.
Sips water and bias. Okay, so I'll say I doubt you.
Heavily
I
biased
want-
in what way, though?
I want to see some proof, but in your benefit,
We don't believe that Abraham Lincoln wanted to send the slaves back to Africa because that was true.
in your benefit, I'll say that I'm operating off of like an elementary school level of history.
Well, Joseph, you're operating off of elementary school level. I know.
She
I-
said,
I
"I'm
have-
operating on galaxy brain." I'm
I
like,
have the ancestral
I've read so many
knowledge.
Wikipedia articles. It's in my DNA, apparent as you just said. You're gonna plug into the Animus and relive it. Okay,
I mean,
so
I could. You don't know. We might have that ability.
in the metaverse, Mark Zuckerberg's gonna create that.
No,
Yeah,
it's a
no.
black thing you wouldn't understand.
What?
It's a black thing you would not understand.
Going into the Animus?
No, connecting with our ancestors.
That sounds.
What?
I want to say that sounds. Well, it sounds racist. Technically, it's
To
not.
whom?
Well, I mean, you're like white people or other races can't connect with their ancestors.
Not in the way that we can. You see, there's generations.
Okay, that sounds somewhat racist.
Okay, Joseph.
What do you mean? You're like white people and Hispanic people and Asian people, they can't connect with their ancestors the way we can. What do you mean the way you can? You have supernatural powers?
Maybe.
Heavily biased. I doubt you.
Anyway,
We gotta move on.
we do.
Because I'm trying to think. I'm gonna move on from Patricia's, but what is it? Okay, so I would get rid of history. Man, we go on so many
Get
tangents.
rid of history?
I would wait. Give me a second.
Okay.
I would get rid of history because it's super boring.
It's
But
not you just had a bad teacher.
okay, I'm Aaron. I'm
Yeah.
talking.
Okay. I'm just saying you probably had a not great teacher.
Okay. It's a white people thing. You wouldn't understand.
Hating history?
No,
Well-
having bad history teachers.
Oh, never mind.
There you go. And that was a joke, by the way.
Okay.
But maybe I don't know. Anyway, I would replace it with cooler history, where
Like
basically we consume historical fiction. You know, we watch movies, we watch TV
Historically
shows,
inaccurate
we read
historical
books.
fiction.
It's still more interesting. Maybe
but it's
we can
not accurate.
we can
even
do
though
the
what's
we can
being
do
taught
the
in schools isn't
inaccuracies and then
technically
we
accurate.
cover what the inaccuracies are. But I need
don't
the
know.
drama. I need the story. I didn't give a crap about World War One until I watched 1917. Okay, that's what I need
But
to
Joseph, World
appreciate
War One
heaven.
is like the coolest war. They introduced all of this
I don't give a
technology
crap.
to better kill people.
Tell me about it, like, and that's sarcastic
They got
because I
tanks.
don't like being told about
They're
it. I
using
want to
tanks
see
and
it.
horses at the
I
same
want to
time.
experience it, Aaron.
They had wacky grenades,
Moving on.
chemical warfare. I don't even like World War One as a subject specifically as a history enthusiast, but it is one of the cooler wars of our history.
Okay,
So-
moving on.
Anyway,
I'm replacing
I'm offended.
history with cooler history.
anyway.
I like history. It needs to be in a way that I can consume it and appreciate it.
Which
I
is in
can't
a
consume it
historically
and
inaccurate
appreciate it
manner.
in the state that it is.
Well,
I don't think 1917 isn't historically inaccurate.
I'm sure there are some historians that would say otherwise.
Call them up. I have one on speed dial.
Anyway, we need
Ugh.
to move on.
David asks, are there any animals that people think are cute, but you think are really ugly? I guess you went first.
Mm-hmm.
I can go first. Problem is, I don't have an answer yet. So we can sit
Okay.
in silence.
Well, I do have an answer.
All right.
Human babies.
Okay. I
Specifically newborn
it
ones.
feels
They all
like
look weird.
cheating, but I'll allow it.
I mean, they are animals.
Yeah.
I'll try to give a real answer.
No. I mean, I like it. That's why I said I'll allow it. I think a lot of babies are ugly. I don't think all newborns are ugly. Like maybe they're a little weird looking, but like they can still be cute and weird looking. But some are just like ugly. Like you look at them and it looks like an old man or something, you know?
And they got like ashy hands. Like, why don't they put lotion on these babies? You know?
I don't know, because it just came out. Babies shouldn't have ashy hands.
Have you seen pictures of newborns? They all have ashy hands.
They should be super soft. What do you mean?
I mean, I don't know. They were in amniotic fluid for like the first 9 months.
Yeah, that's why they should be super soft. Wait.
No, but then they're exposed to like the air. They don't have that anymore. They don't have that protective barrier, which is why they're.
How old are these babies with ashy hands?
Hours.
No. There's a reason. There's a reason you say like as soft as a baby's skin or soft as a baby's butt. It's because they're soft. Their hands aren't getting ashy after like 2 hours of hopping out the tub, you know?
Look at this.
Look at this. I think they just look weird. Like, have you touched a baby's hands?
No.
Oh, well, there's your problem. Yeah, that's not. It may look ashy. It has the visual consistency of ash, but it's soft. Okay, man.
For some reason, I doubt it.
This is the bias.
What
I'm
is
talking
the bias?
about. To your own perspective and opinion. You're like, I see this baby's hands. They look ashy, therefore they are ashy. Have you ever touched a baby's hands? No.
Do I have to touch the hand to know that it's ashy?
You have to touch it to know what it feels like. Yes.
Okay, you can have ashy hands that aren't like crusty. I'm just saying they're ashy. They're not crusty.
All right.
Do you have an answer?
I have to think of one.
I'm also trying to think of a non-human animal, but I don't really. I do think some snakes can be cute. In a weird way.
That's the reverse.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
If you think other people think it's ugly, but you think it's cute.
I know, but I'm trying to think. Bears are they're not necessarily cute. They're more intimidating, but I don't know. What's like a... I think most breeds of dogs are cute except for anything doodle. I don't like them. They look like teddy bears. Yes.
Doodle.
Anything mixed...
What's a doodle?
Anything mixed with a poodle.
Oh.
So like a labradoodle is a lab and a poodle. They just look like teddy bears. They look like dollar store teddy bears, not nice ones. Which is why I don't like them. I don't think like... Of all the like designer dog breeds you can get, you chose one that looks like a stuffed animal. Like I guess I get it for that reason, but I don't know, man.
I think, yeah, this is a tricky answer for me, or a tricky question for me, just because I can't think of anything. I'll say for the reverse of maybe like something that's ugly, but I think is cute. I feel like a lot of people think like pugs are kind of ugly. I feel like pugs are pretty cute.
They are cute, but they probably shouldn't exist.
And then another example of maybe something people think is ugly, but I think is cute is mud skippers. You ever seen those?
Like the fish?
Yeah, but like they're like land fish. Let me look them up.
They're the transitional species. They're
Let's see.
A few generations away from having toes or something.
Mud skipper.
However that works.
They're very goofy looking things. This is more of a cute picture, but there are uglier pictures.
Oh, those?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like they're in the mud.
They do be mudding.
Oh man, this one they look ugly when they're like up. Like, but I don't know, they're kind of funny looking. No. But what is it? I'll say that. And then I think I thought of like one other thing. So I'll say like most dogs sort of, but not, I don't think they're ugly. I just don't think, unless it's like a puppy, I don't think it's like cute. Like a fully grown dog for the most part, I'm just like, yeah, it's a dog. Like,
interesting. I still see my dog as he was when he was a puppy. Like,
well, see, I've never had a dog, and I probably, I most likely never will, but I don't know, man. Those pugs, they're pretty cute.
They also have a lot of health problems. I don't recommend that, but you can get a retro pug. They're not brachycephalic. They have like a regular snout. Yeah, I gotta disagree with the dog one, but I am a dog lover and, as you would say, biased, I guess.
I didn't
I
say it.
think
I
most
wasn't.
dogs
I
are
wasn't
cute,
necessarily thinking about it.
except for Doodles. Doodles are bottom of the barrel. They're weird looking. I like poodles. They look cool. I saw a standard poodle the
Yeah.
other day.
I think we should move on.
Okay.
It's all good. Are you okay?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the standard poodle that I saw the other day, which I
Okay.
thought was interesting.
Okay.
Because you typically don't see people with standard poodles. They're like the tall ones. They're not the toy ones.
Okay.
They're apparently very smart. And they can do things.
All right.
And sometimes they have jobs.
All right.
I can talk very long about dogs.
That's why we're moving on. Still from David.
Okay.
How often do you remember your dreams? Have you ever had a lucid dream?
I think we've talked about this. Haven't we?
Maybe briefly.
Okay.
I'll go first because I couldn't for the last one. I feel like I only remember my like intense dreams. So either they have to be like really weird or like a nightmare. Where I feel like those are the ones I remember the best, where like they stick with you, and like I feel like there's still some that I remember to this day from like either when I was a little kid or a couple months ago, a couple years ago. Nightmares stick with me the most. And then maybe there's like some weird ones where like I feel like there was one where like I was in this like, I don't think I was in a human body, but it was like it looked like I was in the movie Osmosis Jones. That's what I meant.
Okay.
But so I'll say I don't remember my dreams that often. I mostly remember nightmares or weird bizarre dreams, which I don't have either of them very often. And then I don't think I've ever had a lucid dream. I've never like realized I was dreaming. If I ever like reach that point or I'm like close to reaching that point, I always wake up or will always wake up before then. That is my answer.
Well, I almost always remember my dreams. Almost, but not quite. I will say this. So, when as long as I've been wearing this Fitbit, it tracks my sleep patterns, and I think I am more likely to remember a dream if I wake up directly after a REM cycle, because I think that's when you dream. But I've noticed on the nights that I do remember my dreams, I'm in REM cycle before I wake up. So that's really interesting, something to consider. It might just be your sleep cycles for why you don't remember it, or you just have a interesting brain.
I do.
Okay. I have lucid dreamed a couple of times, but I think for the most part, even though I do almost always know that I am dreaming, almost always, I'll say that. I can't really control it. It's just like things are happening and I'm just kind of going along with it. And the way that I know that I'm dreaming is, let's see, when I was in high school, all the way up until like my first semester of college, I wore a watch. It was like a regular digital watch. And the way that I could tell if I was dreaming is if I looked down at my watch and it didn't like make sense, like the numbers were garbled, then I knew I was dreaming. After that, it was if I tried to use my phone and it wouldn't really work, then I knew I was dreaming. And I think that is my totem, so to speak, still to this day.
Your phone or your watch?
My phone. Because I really haven't been wearing this watch long enough for it to, I guess, be meaningful in my dreams. But I do have a lot of recurring dreams. So one of them is that it's usually night for some reason, but I'm in the main intersection of my hometown. And in order to get home, I just have to go down one street. And it's basically just like straight to my house. And anytime I try to go down that street, I end up back at the intersection. Like it's like a loop or something, and it's really weird. And I keep trying to go home, but I can't. And it's honestly, it's not terrifying, so to speak, but it is distressing. However, in one of my dreams, I do manage to make it home. So that's interesting.
What was there?
I mean, it was just my house. My mom was there. My dog was there. You know, it was normal-ish. I do dream about my hometown a lot, but usually the layout is just, it's not right. Like I'll be downtown in my hometown and I see like landmarks and stuff, but they're not where they're supposed to be. I've had that kind of dream a lot, and usually that flows into me trying to go home but ending up back at the intersection. It's like I'm on some wild side of town and I'm trying to get home but I can't. So that's a recurring dream. A recurring dream that I used to have but I don't really anymore is that I would be driving and I'd be like going too fast and I push down on the brakes but the brakes wouldn't work. And after a while I actually realized why I started having that dream. It's because when I was taking driver's ed, they have these like driving simulators that are basically just like a steering wheel and like I guess like the front of a car.
Some pedals.
And yeah. And in order to like get it to stop, you have to press down on the brake really hard. And the brake is much harder to like push down on than the brake in an actual car. So I was basically having that sensation in that dream. And I ended up having to retake driver's ed, not because I failed, but because my school did not record it on my transcript for some reason. And so when we got to the driving simulator, at that moment, I realized, oh, this is why I keep having this dream. And I think as far as recurring dreams goes, those are the only ones that I have. Recently, I don't get a whole lot of like other kinds of recurring dreams, but sometimes I feel like I get dreams. I'm like back at high school again, but it's not like
The question wasn't recurring dreams. It was how often you remember them.
I know, but that goes into it. It's not like, oh, I forgot to study for a test, but it's just like I'm back at school and it's like, normal. But yeah. And I will say having like vivid dreams is a blessing and a curse because then you get cool dreams, but then you also get wacky nightmares. And I remember one time when I was in high school, I got 2 nightmares in a row that were so bad I could not go to school that day. So, yeah, a lot was going on at that time too, but I was just kind of going through it, and it also manifested in my dreams. Also, something else that goes on with the dreams that I have is that if I'm like, I guess, anxiously awaiting something, then I'll dream about it. Like, recently I had a dream about moving into my new apartment, which, I mean, it wasn't particularly exciting. I was just moving. So that'll happen sometimes. But yeah, I do remember my dreams quite often, almost all of the time. And you don't, and that sucks for you.
I remember the bad ones.
That also still sucks for you.
That's interesting. Okay, we're moving on to Melissa. Oh, we're moving on to Melissa.
I got water in my throat.
All right.
Go on.
Okay. We're moving on to Melissa.
Okay.
This one is funny. It's not that funny, but it's funny that she added this. So at the beginning, in parentheses, it says serious answers only.
Okay.
And then the question is, how many pairs of underwear do you pack for a 5-day trip?
Way more than 5.
Yeah.
Well,
so my personal answer, like, I would say 6. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I don't have a very big suitcase. Space is limited. I'm usually bringing a PlayStation or 2 with me, as well as some other random stuff. So I'm like, you bring the minimum and then like an extra, which like that's just like how I was taught and raised. And it's like, it's just in case you need an extra. But at the same time, like, I know you don't necessarily want to do like laundry on a trip, but, I feel like technically you just bring 1 or 2. Technically, I wouldn't do it, but like technically you could just bring 1 or 2 and just wash them, but who wants to do laundry on a trip?
No. And also, well, never mind. But yeah, I feel like even for a 3-day trip, I
guess guys and girls are different. I guess like girls, you can start your period, other stuff. I don't know. Yeah. So
we have a lot more going on downstairs.
Yeah.
Which is why I would bring far more than I actually need.
I bet Melissa would say the same. And I think, yeah. What are things... So, like, I didn't think the question was that funny. I just thought it was, like, serious answers only. She had to specify. What are things that you are too old for, in quotes, but still enjoy? I need to think about it for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Too old for, but still enjoy.
I think certain kinds of people say that video games are only for children, and I think we both enjoy them very much. So I guess that would be something that some people would consider us to be too old for.
Boomers.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, even then, there's probably other people that.
I think I can enjoy a YA novel, even though it's kind of, I'm not in that age range anymore.
I would argue that it's not even about. For me, it's a YA novel is not even about age range. It's just about quality. I feel like why spend your time on trash?
Well, there are some good YA novels.
Yeah.
I haven't read one in like a while though. It's been maybe over a year.
I think yeah, the video game thing, I think some people would think that, but I don't think most. I feel like that's probably something that will change and shift as more people grow up with them and more old people that didn't die off. I mean, I'm just saying it's just the general like perspective on it, you know. I think I
don't know if there's anything like stereotypically childish that I like enjoy though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Stereotypically childish. I think for me, going deeper into video games, I think of like Lego games. I feel like those games are very, very much for children. To the point where they're kind of too easy.
Yeah.
And yeah, and but it's like I still love them. I enjoy them and love the good ones, especially the nostalgia of it. But like, yeah, I think they are for children, though I do think probably more adults bought the most recent Lego Star Wars than children did. Just because
children don't have money.
Well, I mean, their parents can buy it, but I'm saying more specifically like people that grew up playing like the original Lego Star Wars. More people probably bought the new one than people that didn't, and that's like their first Lego Star Wars.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that's something. I feel like that's something I'm too old for. Well, no, I wouldn't agree that I am too old for it, but I think that would be even a more specific answer than video games.
Do we run out of Patricia questions?
No, not yet. Okay. I was gonna do one more of Melissa's, and then go back to Patricia.
Okay.
Are we done with the too old one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm seeing if I can think of anything else, but
I feel like my back hurts.
Would you like a pillow?
I don't think that's gonna help.
Okay. From like the week.
I guess. I don't know. I think it was a mistake to go to my apartment to clean it this morning, but I knew if I didn't do it this weekend, then I probably wouldn't want to do it next weekend either. But that like wiped me out this morning. So.
You lift with your back at all?
Well, it wasn't just lifting, just like, you know, the motion of mopping.
Last week after I don't know if you were there. I think we told you about this. The week after like court, it wasn't the two court cases, it was the first court case. It was Melissa's birthday, and I think like, I had like lifted something.
Your back or whatever.
Yeah, I had lifted something I think at work with my back, something heavy. And so like Friday I was just like I was out. Yeah. And so like the whole weekend I was just in bed all day. Couldn't even like sit on the couch to like enjoy some YouTube or a game or something like.
Do you do Epsom salt in the bath? I think that might help. I don't know.
I mean, I'm fine now, but
just like the next time it happens.
It was severe. I'll try to be more careful. And I mean,
or you can get even those back braces that like not construction, but like people who work in warehouses wear. I don't know if that helps, but
anyway, what are we talking about? Or you can wear
a corset, have a snatched waist. Apparently that also helps with like, you know, back stuff because it makes you sit up straight.
Nope. Whoops. 1 second. Scrolled up. Okay. Okay. We're both getting more tired.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite gift and why?
My favorite gift.
I think I have an answer. I'm just trying to think if I have another answer.
I'm trying to think of all the gifts that I've been given over the years.
Yeah. I can maybe go first.
Okay.
What is it? Well, I guess I'll say that I hesitate to say this only because like the person who gave it to me was the tall woman from Texas. But it was Christmas before, I guess sort of before we were dating, like, but I think I had asked her out at that point. Yeah, but we weren't dating yet. Or maybe we were. I don't know. I can't remember the timeline. We'll just say we weren't officially dating. We were just friends. I may or may not have asked her out. I got her. Okay, I remember it was actually in January. I got her some nice things for Christmas that she really appreciated. Actually, they were they were nice. She appreciated them. She wasn't expecting them either. Then she was like, "Oh, I need to." She was like, "Oh, I need to pay him back. Like he got me these nice gifts. I need to get him something." So like over
What
it,
did you get her?
it was just like it wasn't that nice. I think it was more like the thought that counted and that she wasn't expecting it. You know, it was just like we were just friends, and then it's like, here, I got you a Christmas gift. Like it was a Disney calendar with like Thomas Kincaid, that style. Let me pull it up.
So you got her a calendar.
Yeah, but specifically Disney, and specifically it has these like vignettes from like various movies, and it's in the Thomas Kincaid style. I'm pretty sure he's dead, but he has like
R.I.P. to a real one.
No, he. I think I watched a video on him. He wasn't like that great of a guy.
Never mind. Rest in piss.
I mean, not that either. That's funny though. I've never heard that.
Really? Okay.
But what is it? It was just very pretty. It had some really nice vignettes and in the Thomas Kincaid style, which is a bit like over the top, but still looks very pretty. This is an example of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's the Thomas Kincaid style. And then like you can, I guess the zoom in doesn't work as much, but you can get that like there's some pretty
a lot of detail.
pictures. Yeah, a lot of detail, but very overstuffed of an image.
Maximalism.
But she really appreciated that. I think I had also recently bought Fantastic Beasts on Blu-ray, and it came with it. The Walmart version randomly came with a coloring book, so I also included that.
Okay.
But I think she appreciated the calendar. Then month goes by. She's like, I gotta pay him back. He got me a nice gift. I need to pay him back. And so over Christmas break, she was like looking for a gift. And I think why it meant so much to me was like the effort that went into it. Cause apparently she had like called up several like thrift shops or like several stores looking for this item. And it's like, do you have it? No. Do you have it? And I don't know if she had to travel a considerable distance to get it, but there was a lot of effort into finding it. And so when I opened it, I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know she was going to get me something. And so I opened it and it's like, I don't think it's technically, I'm not sure, but it may be like a first or like an early edition of like Ready Player One.
You can check.
It's packed in a box.
Oh, darn.
Right now.
It's the, what do you call it? You have a book somewhere. It's the copyright page. That's where you can see if it's like a first edition or not. I learned this in a class in college that I paid for.
I think it was among one of like the earlier prints of it. It wasn't after it like had like a cover change and got more popular, I think.
Now I really want to.
And it's packed away. But it's trying to escape. There was a thud that took us off guard. Anyway, but the reason it meant so much to me was because I wasn't expecting it. And then I had like, we had talked about and kind of bonded a bit over Ready Player One. And I had seen like, I liked the cover I had where it's like Wade climbing the stacks. Cause I had like a paperback and then she got me a hardback, and it's like, but I had seen the original where it's just this very simple, like red and yellow, I think like red background, yellow text. And then there's like a little stick figure, like jumping for the key in the center of like the 1 or something like that, or the O in 1. And I have this weird thing where like, I kind of get like obsessive over some things. And so I saw that cover and I was like, man, that cover's so cool. But I think it was cool because it was simplistic and because I didn't have it. So when I actually got it, it wasn't that cool. And looking at it, I'm like, oh, I think I prefer my cover. You looking up what the cover looks like?
Yes.
I think I preferred the other cover. Yeah, that basically. Okay. But for some reason,
first edition cover.
So for some reason, I don't know. I just got obsessed with it and kind of talked about it with her a couple times, but not enough to be like.
I'm assuming this is the one.
That's
the one that I read.
Yeah, well. And I like that one. But yeah, it was just that like she had kind of like latched onto it, remembered, and then went to so much effort to like find it. And it's like the book was used, it smelled like cigarettes, and it's like it had some issues, but like the thought that went into it really really moved me. And I feel like it I'm a very picky person in general, and that applies to the gifts I receive, where like I can be very critical, and like I for the most part I wouldn't like outright say it or something, but like I can be like disappointed sometimes in gifts. So it's like this, I wasn't expecting it, and then like I feel like it was like one of the first times I was like surprised by a gift and just like very much like, whoa, like this, like you got me this is so cool. And so yeah, I think that's just what came to mind, but that was a long story. Have you thought of anything?
Yes, actually, but I wanted to ask if gifts to yourself count.
No. You know what, fine.
Okay, well, for my college graduation gift to myself, I bought myself my very first mechanical keyboard. It was perfect. I had been searching for something like it for a very long time. So the thing about mechanical keyboards is that very rarely will you find one that's like full size, meaning it has like a number pad. And also very rarely will you find one that's like in a pretty color, like purple, because, you know, mechanical keyboards are usually used by like gamers, so they're in like gamer colors. And the typical girly gamer color is pink, but I don't like pink. I like purple. So after some searching, I was able to find a full-sized lilac mechanical keyboard, and I bought that for myself for a graduation gift. And it's honestly
high school or college?
College. It's, with no exaggeration, probably one of my favorite things that I own. I love that keyboard so much. It sparks joy, you know? And as someone who like writes a lot, it's just so satisfying, you know? It's honestly the best. But for something I did not purchase myself, I thought about that one a little bit, and I'm going to say probably getting a Wii. We got a Wii for Christmas. Probably right at 2011, because that Yeah, that's around when it came out, or 2010, whenever it came out. It did not come out in 2011. It came out in 2008. We got a Wii for Christmas one year, and I was second or third grade. So right around the time that it like first came out. And I thought that was really meaningful because up until that point, I never had like my own games console, which I mean, it still wasn't mine. I still had to share it with my brother. And he liked to point out that it was his because he is not a nice person. But you know, that was really meaningful for me. I think getting my first DS, it was a rose gold Nintendogs edition, so it had the paw print on the front. That was great. And the games that I got with it were Nintendogs, obviously, and My Sims. Those are the two games that I got with it. And that...
Let's see, Arin, this is your favorite. You have to pick one.
Okay, but I know, but, you know, those I think those specifically, like, gave me the gift of gaming, you know, for myself. And I was never, like, a hardcore gamer, but it still meant a lot to me growing up. And just to make you even mad, I'm going to add another one. My first laptop. I got that.
All right, so moving on.
Joseph, you had a whole soliloquy about this freaking first edition Ready Player One. I can have my own monologue, okay? And I was almost done, so you didn't even need to do all that.
We can have different lengths of questions. Just because mine's super long doesn't mean yours has to be. And it doesn't mean yours can't. I'm just saying, like, the question was your favorite.
Okay, let me continue.
One, your favorite gift. No, you can continue. It's fine. But I can still be upset about it and antagonize you. Go on. Your laptop.
Yeah. I got it. It was a crappy little netbook, maybe $100. We had moved into this rental house, like, in November. And so... or December, I can't remember. Time is weird for me at that point, but I don't even think we had like a Christmas tree. Like, we didn't even do that because we had like literally just moved into that house around that time. But of course, Christmas morning, wake up, there's two of the same kind of laptop for me and my brother. My brother, of course, complained about it because, again, he sucks. But I really appreciate it because that also gave me the gift of gaming, but the gift of like online gaming, because that's where I discovered Habbo Hotel and RuneScape and Minecraft and all of that. And I was just exposed to the great wide world that is the internet. And that is what led me to realize that there is a whole world waiting for me instead of just my little podunk hometown. So that really gave me, I don't know, a greater perspective of the world, the internet. So I'll say that as well. I think that one's the most meaningful.
Okay, the laptop.
Yes.
Okay.
I still have it. It does not work, but she still exists.
We are going back to Patricia.
We can do one more.
Only one?
Yes, because we're already at 22 minutes.
Man, you're cutting us off. I guess we're doing a part 2, baby, because we still have like half of David's and half of Melissa's, and 2 more of Patricia's.
Okay.
So, do you think there's actually life on other planets? I guess I'll elaborate. I'll say.
Did you go first last time?
Huh?
You did go first last time.
Oh. Okay.
So I shall go first this time. I'm going to say tentatively yes, but not in the way that most people think, like, ooh, gray aliens, those little green fellas. I don't think there's really anything like that exists, but I think life does exist in the vacuum of space, because we have proven that life can exist in the vacuum of space, and I think it's in the form of either like anaerobic bacteria or like viruses. So not like, you know, little green guys.
Okay. Well, I think there's 2 things that like I think influence my answer that I don't know, I'll say. One, I guess, is my like Christian beliefs, and then 2, which will sound different, is a song by Lil Dicky called Pillow Talking. Have you ever heard that song?
No, I don't think I've heard a single Lil Dicky song.
They're pretty funny.
Okay. You know, he worked in advertising. He only started rapping to further his television career. That's interesting.
I don't think I knew that.
Yep.
I think maybe I knew like marketing, but not
Or
I don't
marketing, advertising, something
Okay.
like that.
know. I know he's Jewish, so I was like maybe like the stereotype of like working with money or something like that. But like
Okay.
I'm just saying, like I think that was something he talked about.
Oh.
But yeah.
But I think I bring that up because some rap enthusiasts think he's a poser because of it.
I think it matters more like what other rappers think than rap enthusiasts.
I mean, you would say that, but these rap fans, they're
I think that's the problem.
ferocious.
um,
These Anthony Fantanos, you know.
I don't know if Anthony Fantano likes him or not. I know Snoop Dogg worked with him. I know Snoop Dogg is a real
You know
G.
who also worked with him?
Chris Brown.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh no.
Anyway,
He has a song called Pillow Talking where I guess it is a rap song, comedy rap song, where he had just had sex, and now he is having conversations with the female, and it's funny because they're kind of like pondering like life out there, other big questions like that, dinosaurs, all that stuff, and I feel like that song. I don't think I'd really thought about aliens that much. Dude, that's distracting. You just
What?
like you just have like this outline on your lips from your
Okay,
headphones.
sorry.
You look like the mean lady from Mulan. You know, she's like, you know,
Okay.
what is it? So, yeah, I think that song actually changed my perspective on it. So, like in the song, there's like a moment where they're talking about they're talking about life out there, and I think the girl he had slept with was a Christian, so she was like, no, there's no aliens, the Bible says so, or something like that, which I don't think it does.
It doesn't.
And he's like, yeah, but like the universe is like so big, you're telling me only like there's like trillions of planets and you're telling me only one of them has like life on it. And my like college freshman or like high school senior brain was like, whoa, I never thought about it that way. And I kind of still feel that way about it, where like I'm like, man, like are there part of me thinks that like the planet there are way too many planets on Earth for there to be only one
Planets
with
on Earth.
Sorry, I'm losing it. I guess it's a good thing you're cutting it off. There's too many planets in the universe where that like
They're called exoplanets because they're
Where-
outside of our solar system. I'm a space enthusiast, in case you didn't know.
Oh yeah. Too many planets in the universe where for there to only be life on Earth. I feel like it's so big and so vast. I'm like, whoa. But that also begs the question of like, here comes the Christian perspective. It's like you know, sin, fallen world, Jesus died for our sins and all that. If there's other planets with life on these other planets, are they also like sinful and fallen? Is there like an alien Jesus out there? Did he die for their sins? Is there like multiple Bibles? This is where I take it. I'm serious.
Okay.
I'm like,
But you also have to consider that life isn't just like animals or humans. It's also plants, bacteria, fungi, viruses.
I guess I'm like adding. She didn't say this. She didn't.
A lot of it.
No. She didn't say this in her question. But I'm thinking like, I guess I added intelligent to her question. That's where my brain was thinking. Like, sure, I feel like you can be like, there's like a sponge out there or like a little amoeba just floating around somewhere out there. Like, sure, but I think I'm more thinking. And intelligent life, not necessarily human or anthropomorphic or, only 4 limbs, 1 head, whatever. But I guess maybe that is what I imagine, but I'm trying to think, at least with what I'm saying, I'm trying to think bigger than that. But like, I don't know. I wonder if there is like space Christianity.
Are you familiar with Precambrian animals?
No,
So I don't know if you saw the history of the entire world, I guess, but
I
the
have.
Cambrian explosion, that was when animals started to go wacky. But there are a lot of Precambrian animals that kind of look like plants, or I suppose sponges. Basically, these fellows. I'm very fascinated with them. But you know, these might also very well. This is my favorite picture. Oh my goodness, because they just look so wild. They look alien, you know? And this was a time where the atmosphere of the Earth was very different than it is now. So if things could, live in the waters of a very different atmospheric Earth, then I think things can live in the atmospheres of different planets because we have found planets that are in the, so to speak, Goldilocks zones of their solar systems. So like the Kepler system of planets, there are a few that have um, livable atmospheres. Whether or not they have water is that remains to be seen. Also, we don't know exactly what the atmospheres are like yet because it's kind of hard to like get out there because they're very far away. But it is hypothesized that they have atmospheres that are similar to our own. So I don't see why not something like moss or a Precambrian animal.
Moss isn't interesting. Moss can't die
But
for
it's
your
alive.
sins.
Okay. But something a very simple life form. I think they absolutely could exist on other planets, especially exoplanets that are similar to our own. So I think it's possible, just not like, gray alien Jesus.
I guess I'll just repeat my answers Little Dicky's not a Christian as far as I know. I guess born Jewish. I guess ethnically Jewish, not necessarily religiously Jewish. But he's kind of asking. He's like, why would God make so many planets and only put life on one of them? And I just thought that was interesting.
Which is a good point. Also, you have to understand people's understanding of the world when the Bible was written. Like they knew there were other planets like in our solar system. Like you don't even need like a telescope to see like the other planets. You just kind of have to know where they are. They just kind of look like stars, but they knew that they were planets. But they didn't know like that the Earth. Well, actually, I have to remember when heliocentrism became like accepted, but you could say that they didn't know that the sun revolved around the Earth. They thought it was the other way around. So, there was a lot to be discovered between when the Bible was written and now. So but I feel like you can't apply modern logic to the Bible because of how long ago it was written, the audience it was written for, and the society that it was written in.
But what is it? I feel like my answer is I think there's probably life on other planets, intelligent life, not just some moss. I mean, I feel like there's definitely some moss.
How do you define intelligent though? What does that mean? How do you know moss isn't intelligent? Okay, self-aware.
Has like personality.
Okay.
Like
how do you know moss doesn't have personality?
Likes and interests.
How do we know moss doesn't have that? We can't really communicate with moss, can we? I mean, I think it's hypothesized again that like funguses, they can talk to each other because they've like
I've heard trees talk to each other.
Yes, but there's like a YouTube channel where this guy, he like hooks up electrodes or something to like mushrooms and they like make music. It's cool, but they're definitely sending signals of some kind throughout their little
mushrooms
mycelium network.
They're already here among us.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Okay.
I don't know if there's like, how do you even quantify self-awareness other than in a way that a human can measure it?
That's fair.
So yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I guess we're just pondering, Aaron. We're just vibing.
I know.
Now I have a question.
Okay.
For you.
All right.
You've said that your personal belief is agnosticism, right?
Yes.
Do you still stand by that?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means Joseph. You're trying to catch me in a gotcha, and I don't appreciate that. It means without knowledge. Specifically when it comes to
I'm
a
saying
deity.
specifically the belief, though.
That's what it is. You don't know for sure whether or not there is a higher power, and what that means is different for other people, because you have some people, they don't know and they don't care. Some people, they're partial to the idea, and some people, they don't know but they might want to know.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm pretty sure. Okay, yeah, maybe bad idea to end this on this. It was just I was thinking,
Okay.
I was thinking of this, before the podcast. So I was like, oh, I thought that was a pretty good line and pretty funny. So I wanted to use it on you, but
what are you about to say?
What is it? But I don't know, maybe bad idea. But anyway, so, well, you said in the past, I'll say like, I'm like 99% certain that agnosticism is you're not sure if there is a God or not, but you're open to the possibility that there isn't, and you're open to the possibility that there is. But then I believe in previous episodes of the podcast, or just in general, our hangout time, you've said that you're not open to the possibility of there being a God.
Did I say that?
I think so. Because then I'm like, well, then you're just an atheist.
Because what I said is that there's no way to know for sure. There's no way to like quantify it or measure it. Not necessarily that I'm not open to it.
Well, I know based on your answer, I came to the conclusion that despite you saying you're agnostic, you're just an atheist.
No.
Okay.
Also, I feel like, especially when it comes to irreligion, we'll say, labels are kind of meaningless because they can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people.
It's not a label. This is a term with a definition.
It is a label. Okay, you can say that about sexualities as well, but some people don't really adhere.
We're not talking about sexualities.
Okay, but I'm comparing the two things because I think they're similar.
Actually, let's talk about sexualities, because my line that I thought of is basically, so you're saying, what I remember, you can retract the statement. You can say, I no longer believe this.
Okay.
But what I remember is you're like, I'm agnostic, but I don't believe there's a God. You know what I mean?
I don't think I've ever said that.
Okay,
like,
well, no. What is it? So my funny line that I came up with that I just thought I'd bring it up now because I thought it'd be funny to bring up on the podcast is that's like if you were like, I'm a lesbian, but I only like, or wait, no, I'm bisexual, but I only like women, you know? Like, that's just not how bisexuality works. You know what I mean?
That might be how it works for some people. Again, certain labels some people might not want to use, which is why some people.
But then don't say bisexuality.
Okay.
You can't say I'm bisexual and then be like, but I can't.
How can you police that for people? Like, what makes you the authority on bisexuality?
Because it means what it means? Like.
But how can you for sure know what it means to someone? Number one, if you aren't them, and number two, if you can't like relate to them in that you yourself aren't bisexual.
Because it has a definition. Like bisexuality is you like, I guess both. What is it?
See, you don't even know yourself.
No, I just know there's a stupid amount of wiggle room.
Exactly.
No, but I feel like bisexuality, like by definition, is like you have to like two genders. Now, like someone that says they're bisexual, they can also like trans people or whatever. Like, but I guess you have to like both men and women. And if you're like, I'm straight, then you just like the opposite gender. Or if you're heterosexual or if you're homosexual, you like only the opposite gender. You know what I mean?
That's not what homosexual means.
It's not, it doesn't?
No.
What does it mean?
Homosexual doesn't mean you like the opposite gender.
Sorry, I'm messing up my words. We know I did that earlier. I think I said heterosexual the opposite and then homosexual the same, but I probably mixed up my words.
Okay.
What is it? You like I can't be like I personally can't say I am heterosexual and I only like men. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, there are some people who are lying to themselves who do that on a day-to-day basis. So,
I'm just saying that's not.
all I'm saying is that labels aren't really helpful when it comes to irreligion specifically, and specifically my kind of irreligion. I still call myself agnostic because I don't think there is any tangible way to prove if there is or isn't a god or any other kind of deity. So, and I also don't let that like inform my life choices. Like some people let their religion inform their life choices. I kind of have I guess the term would be humanistic view of how I dictate my life. So
I'm just saying. So I don't know. We may like just go in circles or something. I thought my line was funny, but I do think like it's not just like a label or whatever, and it can mean whatever it means. Like it's a term that has a definition, and
its definition is without knowledge. I've told you this I don't know how many times.
No, but not like its etymology. Like if you break down the word, you know what I mean? Like, whatever.
At its core, that is really all it means.
Yeah, but it's a worldview. It's like
it's not a worldview.
Yeah,
most irreligions is not really like a worldview. I would say atheism is more of a worldview than agnosticism because I would say atheists are more against the idea of there being a higher power, whereas agnostics are kind of I don't know how to describe it other than like go with the flow. Like they don't really care all that much. They might not want to know. They might want to know. They might be trying to search for that for themselves. I'm not. But I really don't think that's like... I suppose you could say it's a worldview because the lack of, I guess, set in stone worldview would make it its own worldview. But I don't know. I feel like trying to understand irreligion from a Christian perspective is confusing.
I think that... I don't know. I think I just still want to say, like, maybe you don't believe this anymore, but, like, I feel like it's the same thing as, like, the set it off thing, where, like, you thought I said that it's like, it's not a certified hood classic, which I don't remember. I may have or I may have not. And we've resolved that. Okay. I've said, sure, it's a certified hood classic. Now I'm saying that you're like, I'm agnostic, but then what you describe sounds way more atheist when I think like you can't just like pick and choose what something means. You know what I mean? If you're like, I'm an atheist, and then I'm like, well, do you believe in God? And you're like, yeah, but I'm an atheist. You know what I mean? I just don't think
Christian atheists. That exists.
What?
Yeah. And it sounds antithetical to itself, but they do exist. That's a thing.
Sounds like a what is that? A paradox? Oxymoron works as well.
They do be existing though. And I say, oh, you can't just pick and choose, but I guess you can.
I mean, you can, but I feel like that makes you dumb.
Okay. Well, you hear that? All Christian atheist Joseph thinks you are stupid.
I do.
Write in below how you feel about that.
Anyway, maybe a bad idea to end on this note. I don't know. I just thought it was funny to be like, to say I'm bisexual, but I only like men. Okay.
Well, there are bisexual people who are attracted more to men than to women.
That's not the same thing. That's not what I said.
Some people who would self-describe themselves...
Aaron, that's not what I said.
Okay, someone who would self-describe themselves as bisexual might identify with that statement.
That's not what bisexuality is.
Well, how can you tell them what that is? It's a label that people put on themselves. There are no hard and fast rules when it comes to sexuality, which is something that I've learned over the years. There's really... It really is just like a glob of,
That sounds insulting.
Labels. it's not insulting. Honestly, I think it's freeing because you don't have to, set yourself to one standard. You could just be whatever you want. And you don't even have to put a label on it. You could just call yourself queer and call it a day, And I think that is freeing for a lot of people.
But labels mean things. They have to mean something.
Yes, and I guess you could say that labels
But you can't just like change the meaning. Well, you can, but it can't just have whatever meaning you want. I feel like it has to have one or at least a range, you know what I mean? But like
I feel like labels, to me, especially the way you're describing them, they seem inherently heteronormative because you either like men or you like women or you like both or you like neither. There's no wiggle room in there. You're either a girl or a boy or you're neither, and there's no wiggle room.
I'm not saying that at all.
Well,
I think that's your bias.
No, the way you're describing it is that's what it's making it seem like you're saying.
I'm trying to keep it simple for the sake of like argument.
Okay.
I think there is wiggle room. I'm just saying.
It's not, no.
You can't
just keep it simple for the sake of argument because then you're like, you're not including everything in there. So you're like, you're sticking to labels when you can't really stick to labels.
You're talking about the labels though. You're sticking to the labels.
Talking about the labels.
We're both talking about the labels, but you're like you can't stick to the labels when the labels are the labels and they don't mean what they mean because they just mean whatever you want.
I mean, for some people they do just mean whatever they want.
But I'm saying like different things mean different things. Like someone can be like, I don't know. Someone.
I don't think you do.
Someone can. I don't know. Someone can like whatever they want to like. They can like all things or just one specific thing. But like, I feel like there may or may not be a term for that. They can invent it or whatever, but it has to.
They don't have to.
It has to stick to that.
But does it though? I think you're too hung up on the labels here. Because like, you can have a set of characteristics that you identify as or ideologically identify with, but you don't have to like ascribe that to a label. Like, you can say, this is what I believe, or this is who I'm attracted to, or this is what my gender is. But you don't have to be like, okay, this is what I am. You can just say, this is what I am without affixing a label to it. It's not 100% necessary anymore anyway.
I think what I'm saying is that if heterosexuality means only liking the opposite gender and someone's like, I'm heterosexual, but I like both genders, then it's like they're bisexual. They're not heterosexual. That's not what heterosexuality means. You know what I mean?
That's
I'm just
maybe what they want to self-identify as. Labels kind of don't mean anything.
I think
because you can have a label and then you can have like what you actually are, and those two things can be incongruent.
All right, so I am a black person.
Okay, not like that. See, now you're making a bad faith
labels
argument.
Don't mean anything.
You're making a bad faith argument, I feel like.
I think so are you.
Okay.
Labels don't mean anything. All right, I'm black. Like,
I was specifically talking about sexuality, and now you're going into like...
We were also talking about religions.
That as well, but now you're doing something completely different.
Well, how is it different?
Because I feel like...
What if, like... Yeah, how is it different?
See? It's Ben Shapiro coming out. I can see it.
I don't watch him.
Okay, but you have stated in the past that you did at one point, or at least did like him.
I don't necessarily have, like... I don't...
We've been going for far too long. It's already been 48 minutes. I was supposed to cut off at 20.
I feel like you assume I really like Ben Shapiro, and I think like...
I didn't say really like him.
Well, you just said like, that's the Ben Shapiro coming out.
Yeah, because that's something that Ben Shapiro does. And also Jordan Peterson. Specifically Jordan Peterson. He does that a lot. It drives me mad.
I mean, how is it different, though? You didn't answer the question.
Different from what?
How is race different from sexuality? You can identify if labels don't mean anything and you can identify as whatever you want. Why does it matter?
I feel like race is more specifically a set of like lived experiences and also like heritage. And not necessarily genetic, because a lot of people want to bring genetics into race when that only really helps with like ethnicity, I think. Because race is a social construct, but ethnicity I feel like is more set in stone. Like you can be ethnically African, but also, you know, North African, which means you're not like West African or, yeah. Also, religion isn't really an immutable characteristic. I feel like people can change their mind on that pretty easily. I feel like that's the least, set in stone thing about a person is their religion.
So labels don't mean anything, but at the same time, like race is an immutable characteristic. But
race is not an immutable characteristic because it is a social construct. Race is how people perceive you. So let's say, for example, okay, perfect example, you yourself, you are technically a Latino person, but the world perceives you as white because you have typically white characteristics. Now, if you came out just a little bit darker, maybe you would be perceived as Latino, but you're not. So, technically speaking, you are white, even though, even more technically speaking, you are not. Half white, yes, but not necessarily. Ethnically, you are Honduran because that is where you are from. However, you could also say that maybe you don't identify with that because you didn't grow up there and you don't have any attachment to that area. So, I think we need to end this.
Okay.
So, this has been the 20th episode of the Not Just Arin podcast. You can find us on all major podcast platforms. That is Google, Apple, Spotify, Anchor, and YouTube, which is one that I forget often. For all things Not Just Arin, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Not Just Arin Pod. I do use them sometimes, but that's neither here nor there. To discuss all things Not Just Arin, you can use the hashtag NJAPod. Let's see what else. Who are we sponsored by?
Ben Shapiro.
Thank you to Ben Shapiro for financially supporting the Not Just Arin podcast. We cannot do it without your financial contribution. And that is it. And also, before you leave, we should have a companion video up on my channel. It's Just Arin. They should come out at the same time. If they don't, well, yeah. But anyways, we have to go. Our brains are broken.